Hey, what's up? I'm Ace, and I ended up rewatching this old ass anime recently. So here's a video on it, I guess. It's called Girls Machiavellism?
Machiavellianism.
Girls Machiavellianism. That's a fucking word, I guess. But yeah, it's a harem battle ecchi that I first watched when I was like 15 or something. I watched it roughly around the time when I first started watching anime and was just binging heavy. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure it was directly after watching Bastard Magic Instructor, which, I mean, that's a pretty good show, so kind of unlucky for this show to be honest, but yeah. On first watch, I was kinda iffy on the show. Kinda ended up thinking it was just kinda whatever. And now that I've rewatched it years later, I've sort of changed my stance and I kinda think it's just straight up ass. Which is tough since I tend to defend ecchi or degenerate shows since I think they're overhated and that some are actually pretty good for what they are. But this one is not. It tries doing a lot of different things and it all kinda just falls flat. It's a degenerate show, so obviously I didn't go into it expecting this to be written by the Smurf account or something. But like, even comparing it to others in its lane, like Bastard Magic Academy, Chivalry of a Failed Knight, or like Dragnar Academy, it's simply not as entertaining or as good, to be honest. It's honestly just mid as hell in comparison, and even in the vacuum, it's not really all that great. It has a few redeeming qualities, but to me overall, I just think the author sort of just shit the bed. To start us off, I guess I'll give you a quick synopsis of the show. In this anime, we follow Nomura. He's recently been transferred to a school known for its ability to reform delinquents, and upon his arrival, he finds that the methods they use to do so are extreme as shit. The show then kinda just leans into the guy at an all-girls school trope, but the twist here being is that half of them are actually guys who were beaten into submission and just overall terrorized into cross-dressing as a form of correction. The school is hella serious about peaceful coexistence and takes any form of rule breaking up the ass, so much so that they employ 5 capable students to wield swords and carry out the school's doctrine. Our protagonist Nomura hates this and is determined to leave campus and just live out his days fucking freely, I guess, or just how he wants. The problem with that though is that in order to leave campus, he needs a card stamped by the 5 swords. So the whole show revolves around him and his quest to be able to leave campus. I kind of feel like I dragged that out a bit, but I mean, you can kind of just tell off what I said that at its core, it's a pretty simple concept. I don't want to say it's a premise that'd be hard to mess up, but it's kind of a concept that'd be pretty fucking hard to mess up. Like, on paper, you should be able to make a somewhat entertaining battle harem with this concept, but hey, like I said earlier, the author fucking shit themselves midway through this, and I guess they just thought it was the hardest premise on earth or something, since they really fucking fumbled hard as hell. Before I bag on the show further, I want to get the positives out of the way, and off the top, I can only really think about 2, and to start, it'd probably be Nomura. He's actually a good protagonist for a show like this. He's kinda just a straight up shitter. He's got that, I believe in true gender equality personality, and he kinda just runs ones with anyone. He's a shit talker, cocky, and pretty sociable, so like I said, he's pretty goated for a degenerate anime like this one. His fighting style was also pretty cool. He sorta just runs straight hands with people while they just come at him with swords. He wears slash resistant gloves and relies heavily on deflections and counterattacks. It's honestly got potential to be peak as hell, especially with his finishing move. I'm pretty sure it was called like Spirit Bullet or something. I'm gonna probably flash it up on screen so you see it, but I mean, it's just not bad. Overall, this dude's a solid protagonist, and it's just kind of unlucky that he was sort of just wasted here. The other positive is kind of just barely one, and that'd be the relationship between Nomura and his deuteragonist Onigawara. Their dynamic is pretty cute since she's a tsundere, and that tends to pair well with a cocky shitter that'll tease her. We get their backstories late into the season, and it kind of just shows us why they are the way they are. They bond over it, and I mean, it was pretty wholesome. Unfortunately, since I mean it is a fucking ecchi with 12 episodes, we don't actually get to see them get together by the end of it. But I mean, she's clearly his main option, so I guess that's fine. I don't know. Their relationship has potential though. I can totally see them being portraying this funny couple for a harem show, but we'll probably never get to see it since this show is old as hell, and I honestly don't even know if this is like the completed product. Like, I don't know if this is ended or not, so I mean, like, maybe in their light novel or manga they get together, but hey, I'm not fucking reading that shit to find out. That being said though, I'm gonna transition now onto just shitting on the show and presenting all the bad stuff. The show does have hella problems, but I guess I'll get started with just the pacing. The show is a battle harem, so I sorta understand jumping from fight to fight, but we're never really giving any time to do anything. We just go from fight to fight with no downtime or moments between characters. There's no school festival arc or beach or pool episode. We don't go on any dates or class trips. The only time we really spend with the characters is transitional beats that lead us to the next problem. We're essentially presented with a character and are kind of just expected to like them off rip. The show's formula is we meet the girl, she has beef with Nomura, they fight, and dope, now they like him. Okay, next girl. Like, it's actually just so fucking ass. The show's pacing leaves us in a situation where we're not really able to have a favorite character like that, since we spend so little time with any of them to really care. With the pacing being how it is, the fights also take a hit and aren't really engaging like that. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting like Kakashi versus Obito type shit, but like, they're all pretty much the same. Pretty anticlimactic and boring and just ass in general. Big reason for that being the case is that there's never really any stakes to any of the fights we have. They all boil down to, oh wait, Nomura isn't following our insane rules? Fuck what an unruly pig of a man. We have beef now, fight me pussy. It never really goes deeper than that, so it's just kinda lame as fuck when you realize that's all the fights will ever be. The author tries to remedy this by giving us some more variety, I guess. They give us a fight motivated by blackmail and another one at the end that's supposed to be emotionally charged. But like I said, it's at the end. It's deadass the last episodes of the anime. Like, at that point, after getting this far into it, who the fuck cares? It also doesn't help that at no point does it ever feel like Nomura's gonna lose. No one outside of like 2 people are willing to be proficient enough at combat to make it seem like they'll overpower or just beat Nomura. And with this being a battle-centric ecchi, that's rough as hell. It might come off as if I'm overthinking things and that I'm expecting too much from an ecchi show, but like, come on man, you can be an ecchi show or a degenerate anime and just still be good. DxD is a pretty good example of this since they're in the same lane, and DxD actually has different stakes to their fights, and it excels in a lot of different things while being a fan service heavy show. They're completely different shows, but at their cores they're somewhat similar. Like, they're both comedic, battle-centric ecchi, but Armed Girls is just so fucking ass in comparison. Like, they just fail hella hard at the battle aspect of the anime and just every other aspect of anime in general, to be honest. I'm not one to hate on fan service, but like, if you're relying on someone to like your show solely because you made a shitty crew joke or flashed some titty or thighs or whatever on screen, then it's an ass show. Another example would be like Shimoneta. The show heavily relies on dirty jokes and fan service, but the author actually knew how to write a story and get us to like the characters. At no point was Shimoneta boring or did I feel like it was a drag to get through. And now that I'm thinking about it, Shimoneta actually had better conflicts than this battle harem, and that's not even what they were aiming for. Like, fuck man, that's terrible. Normally I take time to talk about characters or maybe like cool arcs or notable plot points, but like, deadass dude, there's like none of that here, and I don't really feel like individually bitching about every character outside of the 2 I mentioned. Actually, let me bitch about the ending real quick. With the writing being beyond ass, it was pretty much inevitable that it was gonna have a shit ending. All the meaningless fights and stamp gathering sorta just amount to nothing. In the end, Nomura befriends everyone, and even while facing expulsion or when given the chance to get all the stamps, he just doesn't go for it because he's friends with everyone now and would rather stay at the school than just go off and do whatever he wants. So I guess he essentially just loses in the end and the school successfully corrects him, but in a sort of normal way instead of the extreme ass measures every other guy had to go through. And honestly, I found it lame as hell. It was such a basic cookie cutter ending, but for some reason the events leading up to it were so dragged out and I guess stat padded for no reason. Like, dude, dude, this show just kind of felt filler as fuck. I don't know if the anime rushed to an ending or made one up since they knew they wouldn't be renewed. Actually, I guess the manga or light novel of this could have been just as ass, but like I said, I don't know, and I don't really care to read through that shit to find out. I'm not gonna sit here and exaggerate and say this was the worst thing I've ever watched. It was just kind of mid, like fuck. It just felt like filler. It was like a time waster. There's honestly no real reason to watch this unless you just want to burn time, which kind of sucks since, like I said in the beginning, I feel like there is some kind of potential here. Like, I swear you can have a good show with this main character and this premise. We just kind of needed a different person writing it, I guess. That's all I really gotta say though. I don't really recommend this unless you just don't value your time or something. It has some redeeming qualities, but not enough for me to not call it shit. And yeah, you should totally subscribe, comment, leave a like, and share the video and channel around. I'm trying to grow, so that'd be lit. And yeah, expect some more videos on random ass anime coming soonish. And that's about it. Later.